Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our weekly Ascension Angel Messages for August the 19th through the 25th, 2024. So I'm delighted to be back with you again this week, and hope that you have been having noticing some really incredible shifts as we are as it feels like things are starting to gradually, intentionally, and depending on how you're managing, could be slowly or quickly evolving. So, I wish you all the best with that. And so I welcome you back here and to this weekly series, and thank you for being present with all of this and continuously as well. And also to welcome anyone who might be new to our Angelic Wisdom community. If you haven't done so already, please, like, share, subscribe, and of course, leave your comments. If during the course of this video you feel called to have an angel reading with me, you can go to my current website, theangelschool.com/services. That link will be in the description area beneath this video. Also, if you'd like to make a donation to my channel, you can use my PayPal me link for Angelic Wisdom LLC. The other thing I want to just remind you of as well is to check out the general monthly Ascension Messages for the month of August, and that'll be the very first link that you will see. As you can see, I'm sure some of you are heartbroken, but the angels, without me even asking, are having a sense of a change. It's the first time, maybe, that I was shocked right before, as I'm getting to make preparations, that they showed me the name of the deck that they wanted me to use. And so that might have some implications how this happened, that I was not expecting it. And I think I mentioned last week that we really need to expect the unexpected from here on out, as we are detaching from an old paradigm of fear. And that mode of operation we could predict it. I mean, you can always predict because it's based on your interpretation of reality, right? And how you choose to show up. But now we can really expect the unexpected because we're in a new paradigm shift. And so whatever, your worries and your fears, the patterns are going to come up. But I would encourage you to lay down these burdens, to just lay them all down, and to take a risk, to walk freely without all that baggage, without all those things you think you need. We might find ourselves obsessing about not having certain things. Our day might not go well if I don't have this thing. But the thing that we're going to discover more and more is that everything that you needed was always inside of you, just like Dorothy was told at the end and by the good witch. She always had the ability to go home. And it's the same for you. You've always had the ability to make your life abundant and full of happiness. You just believed that you needed somebody else to save you. But you'll come to understand that your strengths, the strengths that are within you, are always showing up for you. And it's because They are gifts from God. You are a gift from God. So your soul is a gift from God, and the strengths of your soul are those gifts from God. And we've been relying so much on the world to tell us what our strengths are. We rely so much on the world to tell us if we're beautiful or not. We rely so much on the world to tell us if we're good enough for ourselves. Like, imagine, and I know you can because I'm the first, one to be like this, but it's like we're waiting for the world to tell us if we're good enough for our own gifts, our own great qualities. And so I hope that you are ready to walk into a new future, to experience a whole new paradigm, one where now love, the source, the strengths, and the gifts of God that have always been there, just waiting to bless us. And it's interesting. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to share it with you. But today, when I was, calling energies, and I was told to call in the Christ light, but they showed me the Christ light of the new resurrection, which was interesting, and the imperial blessings that this is offering to us. The idea is that what Jesus represented on that cross was he established that so long ago the groundwork for the new paradigm to they wrote to come into an alignment. All right. So at that moment, that new paradigm was called into alignment to be the path forward for all of us. And now we're on the precipice of this new paradigm, the full embodiment and establishment of it within our consciousness. Because this is where, this is how, when it's established in our consciousness, then it will become established in a new world order or paradigm. You are the gift that's going to implement this higher consciousness, where it's almost as if the crowning, we reach a consciousness of crowning royalty, where we're offering ourselves all the best. We're receptive of all the best that the universe has to offer to us. A crowning consciousness of integrity, a crowning consciousness of enormous love and compassion and understanding. Part of understanding is also what I like to call, we have to learn to be sacred listeners. Because when we hold a space for those who we think are crazy or insane, well, you're going to discover that they're not crazy or insane, right? That we're all just afraid. And when we're afraid, we believe things that aren't true. But there's truth in every life. There's truth in every story that is being lived. Whether or not you think it's right or not. And we have to become sacred listeners so that we can all get back to being unified. Not that we have to agree, but that we respect each other's voice. And in learning to respect each other's voice, we begin, through that peace that surpasses all understanding, we begin to find a common ground to focus upon and build upon. And we don't want conformity. We don't want everybody to be or think the same way, because that is also an imperial blessing, because it allows us to have infinite variety and possibilities and opportunities. So, as you go out into the world and you start to feel that you're judging the world, or you start to think the world is going crazy, or it's just, take a deep breath, de-escalate that, because your consciousness, your attention is so powerful that you will only activate it. You will, give it more life. And choose then, therefore, to be a sacred observer and a sacred listener, to hold the space through unconditional love and compassion. And it takes courage to just be able to sit there and just listen. Let somebody be the soundboard for another to hear what they're thinking and saying, not because you think it's wrong or crazy, but just to be there so they can hear themselves and be able to hear that inner voice of light and love and truth. Truth, not as in judgment, saying that this is right or wrong, but just truth, authenticity, purity. In that way, you help them to heal themselves to the degree that they are ready for in that moment, and what is appropriate for them to help them grow in the path that is of integrity and pure alignment for them and the source, their source. We can do so much more to create peace on earth by honoring this sacred gift of observing and listening, being the sounding board, holding the space. But in order to truly do this, and if to know that you're truly doing it, and know that you're human, so there's not going to be a 100% accuracy at all. You are just aiming for the highest percentages as possible. But you will know if you are not really holding that space, because you will feel offended, or you will feel like this is harming you, or you'll feel like you can't take it anymore, and that's because, see, in this sacred observer or sacred listening space, we have the same trouble listening to ourselves, or having others listen to us. And the only reason that we have trouble with others giving us the same kind of space is because we can't give it to ourselves. And I know what I'm talking about in this, because the things that they've been putting me through, to be able to tell you this without knowing that this was what I was learning it until now, is because of the effort I put into just listening when the emotions and just go off like all these like alarms, right? And I've had to sit and listen as I'm being exposed to new opportunities. These fears and alarm bells are just going off, and I've had to hold a sacred space, be a sounding board for that energetic information. And it'll either come through dreams, as it did for me last night, or it'll come through your journaling. But when you do this work for yourself, you won't get it right away that was something that you could apply to everybody else. Typically, people like you and I will try to go out and fix people or tell them what to do and what not to do. It's the shadow aspect of us that we have to watch out for, right? So think about this, how you can be that sacred listener and observer. First, you have to be a sacred observer, and then you start to just automatically sort of slide into the listener. And if somebody approaches you or comes across you and they sort of stop in your line of attention or sight, and they're engaging you, and you start the judgment, just be a sacred listener. You don't have to fix them. The best way to help somebody is to do this, because you can tell somebody all you want what to do, but if they're not ready, they're not going to do it. And sometimes you might feel like you're just talking to the wall where you are, because until it's their idea, until they have the realization, they're not going to be ready for more. There's so many thoughts going through my head from the angels I'm talking, and it's just incredible. All right, so let's take a look at the archangel that we'll be working with in this week. And it's the Archangel Raziel. And this, I love this full rainbow sort of light that surrounds him, this energy. And Archangel Raziel is sometimes considered sort of the wizard of the archangels, because he understands all of the mysteries, the sacred mysteries of and the deep wisdom at the heart of our soul's spirituality and the spiritual laws and the universal codes and keys that are the sacred geometry, right? And so he works with all of these tools with wisdom. And it says, seek and you will find. Be a wise one. And he's holding this book of information. And that book could be any kind of information that you need right now. And it's not just like information that you go digging, looking through in a library, although libraries have all kinds of information in them. It might be information you need from a book, a literal book, but it might most likely be something you need from your own akasha. Something that you have within you that can come forward at this time and moment, or maybe that there's a particular lesson that you are learning right now, and it's a spiritual lesson, and this is something that you have to work with. There are tools that are being provided to you through this lesson. And so, whatever it is that you're seeking right now, if you're seeking success, I just saw that word, they just wrote that out. But it seems to have been evading you, or you've been excessively, as they're writing, just focusing on that, because you want to be successful. But the thing is that you already are. Believing that you're not is creating a whole other reality that is creating all that confusion and insecurity. And they're writing reversal, meaning you got to reverse this process where you keep believing it's out there or that it's something for you to chase. This is what I think that expression means, that it's like you're chasing your own tail, because all along you're out there looking for it and it was inside of you. And the only way for you to access that, what's inside of you, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. And they're writing express. I was trying not to talk about this, but it seems like it's some of the examples of the things I was going through, and it's not anything bad, but I do have another teaching job interview, and thought after last year I wasn't going to do it again, but here they brought it to me again, and but this time I'm working through this differently. So this thing about express, and because I was obviously want to be successful in this interview on Tuesday. It's a Catholic school, very similar to the job I've done before in the past. And the last time I had an interview and had to do a demo lesson, I got really caught up in the whole, trying to impress and trying to present this really dynamic lesson. So I had so much in it, it just overwhelmed me. And I didn't stop. I never had the time to practice any of it because I was still writing it, because I was the whole left brain thing, right? So I'm total right brain. I am the kind of person that I can just walk into a situation, and because I connect to a sense of purpose, a need greater than myself, like when a teacher, I would have a lesson plan when I did this integrated arts, and the teacher would say, oh my God, they're struggling with this literacy skill. Could you work with this today? And because like the need in her eyes, and I knew it was for the student, like my fear, I never panicked about it. I just would create something, it would just come to me, an idea, and I'd go with it. So because I'm right brain, I work that way. I work through the experience or the expressing it first. What I tried to do before was do the left brain thing and try to write it, and trying to intellectualize it and write it all down. And I get bogged down in there. That part of my brain is like the hall of criticism. You can't do anything right in that in that part of the brain. And for a sensitive creative, someone who's really nonverbal, verbal, uh, being verbal is very difficult for me because I'm very sensitive about every word, um, and I'm trying to match it to energy, even when I didn't even know that when my whole life I felt words, felt the energy and tried to find the words for energy that I didn't understand. And so when, for some people that are left brain oriented but still balanced, we're all balanced, but the thing is that when we become afraid and we don't understand our process, then one or the other can trap us. And so um what I had to do years ago was, I had to ask my first job, I asked my principal, because I had written the lesson plan, but then I felt stuck. I couldn't move my feet, and I was just like, this is just not me. It's like I'm bombing in here. can I just, and I don't know how I knew to ask him, can I just not write plans for a little while and just let me come in and teach and then figure this out? And so he came in, he saw just like how I changed when I was freed from the chains of this intellectual route, because it's not my natural initial process way uh, of my initial process, right? And so he said, now I see what you're saying. I'll give you 3 months. So now coming back to this versus the last interview, in this interview, I realized my roommate said, you got to come from the heart. That's what I'm getting. So I knew exactly what she meant. So instead of trying to write the lesson, I had it all in my head. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I just got up in my room and started practicing it as if I was standing in front of the class, and it just comes out of me, just like it always did. That's that's my success. That is my strength. What that's how I achieve success naturally, by expressing it first, then doing the left brain thing and pinning it down, and so that I have an outline of what I'm going to do. So I so this is what they're kind of getting at, and that's why I'm sharing that with you. Okay? Don't work against yourself. Don't try to make yourself fit into the part of you that doesn't work. So I'm just gonna generalize this, and just as a hope to simplify the example I'm giving. If your left brain and that right brain part of you is extremely intimidating, and it makes you feel like an idiot because you can't live up to what you think it means, then start with that linear left brain process, putting things in order. But if you're like me, in your right brain, I think we suffer more because the world is not oriented towards us. And this, I think, is what a lot of the kids are struggling with, because they're definitely more right brain, more um, they're not afraid of it. We all have it, but for some reason we somehow, I think, my opinion, not necessarily true, that we just grow afraid of one or the other. And maybe because that it's not given to us in a holistic way, so that we always embrace them in a holistic way. And then we're working these two parts that are in balance, and they're giving us feedback and helping us to work with what we're trying to do. So for your right brain, then let yourself express. That's how, in order to get into to figuring out what's in there, then just express it. Play, explore, experiment, dance, move, do whatever. Be creative. In the sense that in a way of doing something that gets you engaged with other parts of your body, or motor skills or whatever. Do that to help you to unlock the gifts, the talents, the success, the prosperity, the abundance, because it's there. All right, let's take a look at the first card for the beginning of the week. So I should warn, there might be some modest, this is a very art deck, like make a lot of statues, and but it's like classic art, nudity, nothing profane, if that is even, that sounds very judgmental, but just to make you aware of that. Okay. All right. So we have, of all things, talking about being creative, right? And nurturing, and just, the cornucopia of gifts, and those imperial blessings, right? That reside within us. This card is the epitome of saying that you just are constantly blossoming with ideas, with talent, with possibilities, with opportunities that are coming out of your creativity. And to really access that now within yourself. You know, so it's really talking about tapping into that right now. If you're feeling confused, if you're feeling like disoriented, you don't know which direction to go, you're trying to figure some things out, get into a creative mode. Start generating some ideas. Start generating and exploring. Taking yourself to your gifts and your talents and your abilities, to stretching them outside of the comfort zone, taking them to new heights, right? But as you can see, her hand is focused on her heart. Like my roommate was telling me, come from the heart. When you come from the heart, this is automatically really insinuating authenticity. You without all the layers of what other people think, or what, trying to please everybody. I had a dream last night that as I was just trying to still nervous. I had a great idea, but I'm still nervous about Tuesday, on August 20th. It's gonna be at 1 o'clock. So if you want to just send me all your light and love and prayers, I would really appreciate it. And so I was just worried, about trying to connect with the students and impress them and blah 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 blah. And I had two dreams, and one was I was thinking these kids that would be coming out on there's 10 kids or 5 or 10 kids are going to come out on their break because they haven't started school yet till after Labor Day. And I was standing far away from them, and I was looking at the table where they were sitting, and they were sitting at a table as if they were a panel of judges, like there was 6 of them. And some were looking at me, and some were bored, had their head down. And I realized in a dream, like I didn't hear it, but the angels communicate through telepathy, and so the telepathic message I got was you're distancing yourself from them. And in the dreams I moved towards them, I recognized that they became animated. So one, don't get in there was the idea. The second dream was, I'm just showing you how the angels can come and help you, especially when it's something that maybe is meant to be. But the next one was because I was going to do this sort of student-centered, work, group work, where they're going to be coming up with ideas and discussing and so forth. And so what happened was it was about vegetables instead of music. And basically they were going to get up and portray vegetables and move, and so it's making fun and at my thing in a good way, right? Take it light. And so I was, the kids seemed to be trying to just impress their classmates instead of really focusing on the objective of what was, like, this is about, we could have done a lesson on food in a very generic way, open a book and talk about the food groups, read, you read. Instead, we did something creative, something to express ourselves. And so one of the teachers was just saying, use this as an opportunity for not to try to impress us, but to make an impression upon yourself with this lesson, how eating your vegetables and eating healthy food is uplifting to you. It gives you energy to express yourself. And so I woke up immediately realizing that's my purpose. My purpose is to with this lesson, to show them how they can uplift themselves through music. We're going to be focusing on mood, and how you can change your mood and affect your whole day and affect everybody else. And so I'm giving them something that they can use for themselves. And so that gave me purpose. Now I woke up and I felt like, success. I know I can do this now because I found the purpose. that wasn't just about me. They immediately just took it all away from me, about this is about me, me. No, this is about the kids. And this is something that I can remember every lesson that I create. So just sharing that with you to help you to understand really the imperial blessings of this Empress card and the Empress within yourself. Now I see why they wanted me to use the deck. Oh, wow. This is not the Emperor, but this is the King, the Four of uh, Pentacles. As you can see here, they put in the cards here for the Minor Arcana card. But it's interesting because it looks like the Emperor, although he has no crown. And why does he not have a crown? Talking about the whole imperial crown, the imperial consciousness, because the crown is a symbolism in the tarot for our consciousness. And notice that this Four of Pentacles does not have one. Typically, they do. But the thing is that he's holding on to everything. Is a traditional sort of meaning. That he's holding on to everything. And therefore not, and he's afraid to let it go, right? So he's not doing anything with his gifts. Now, it's something interesting slant here because there is no crown. And he looks very unhappy. Like, right? He just looks like he's not asleep. You might not be able to see it with the camera view, but his eyes are looking down, and he's got all this, but what is he gonna, it's like he has nothing to do with it. He's lacking creativity. So without his crown, his imperial crown of consciousness, he has this, all that he has cannot amount to anything because it cannot be activated. It says that our success is activated by this imperial consciousness, this higher consciousness, fearless consciousness that is activated by service, that moving service, that purpose, what I just described to you, that just gets us out of our fears and because otherwise I was going to be like holding my talents in, sitting on them, not like I would be there, but I wouldn't have given as much as I could have given because I would have been thinking so much about myself and what I'm doing wrong instead of focusing on the kids, right? It's a very interesting take, especially because it looked like the Emperor. So it says that you have this power. You have the power to shape the world. You have the resources within you to shape the world, but you got to get that imperial crown. You got to shift your consciousness. You got to find the purpose within yourself. And then all that you have, it will prosper. It will expand. It will grow. More will come back to you. And look at this. We have the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands is definitely something about, energy just moving very quickly for you. Once you tap into this inner life, this extraordinary and miraculous inner life, things will start to move very quickly. The ideas will flow. You'll be in the flow of your own creativity because the Wands is definitely the creative suit, right? And that's why it's often related to, your career and the concept of how is that flowing for you. But within that, we have to deal with all these beliefs, and our will has to be strong, which are the key words for that particular suit. So, tapping into this helps you to find that motivation, which is another keyword for the the number, let's just put it that way. The number 8 in numerology is sort of motivation, movement, which this card displays, and also messages coming to you. That's because you're in the flow now. You're in the flow, you're in the alignment, you're in the flow, and the messages come just like the dreams may come, or the telepathic information from the angels will come to you. All right, let's take a look. Remember, seeking you will find. So first they're showing you how to align yourself with the vortex of energy that will lead you to what you're looking for. All right, now this is interesting. The card that I pulled from the bottom is the 7 of Swords. So the 7 of Swords, first of all, indicates somebody who's very clever, very astute. But it also shows that the person may or may not be using it for good. It could be that somebody is trying to take back something and they think it's for a good cause. They believe they're doing it for the right reasons and a good cause. Like, they're trying to right a wrong. But the thing is, the 2 wrongs don't make a right. That's expression, and that is a truth. And so this card calls us back. They're writing success right now in front of me again. This reminds us that we can't cheat ourselves. We can't cheat ourselves in order to achieve true success. You can't do something that doesn't have integrity, even if it's with the best intentions. Don't cut those corners. Really stick to your true purpose, the one that inspired your heart. Don't accept any compromises to come out of you to just sort of get there, to get ahead of the situation. Now, if something is truly blocking you, like within yourself, it's okay to get help, but let it be to help you to unlock the writing, that expression, that creative expression within you, and then go and then read, and to help you reconnect with that. And then from that, continue to offer your abilities, your cleverness, for goodness sake. Offer it, but authentically. All right, so that gives you something. It seems like for this week, you're going to be really involved in something, a project, or something that's really important to you, or you're really sort of queuing up for a successful opportunity of some sort. And so they want to give you the means, remind you of who you really are. Stop looking for it out there. Believe in yourself. Trust your instincts over what other people are saying to you. If what they're saying to you resonates with you and it's meant, then, well, let's put it this way. If what they're saying to you is meant to help you, it will resonate with you. That is the sign. But if it kind of makes sense and it kind of like, but now you have an inner conflict, that means that you need to trust yourself. Doesn't mean that was wrong, but it may not be the right information for you to apply in the situation, or that it's right the way it is right for you as a person to work with that. All right? So I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and have an incredible and amazing week. God bless you.